price floor or supporting price or minimum price. This is a minimum price fixed by the government above the equilibrium price to protect the suppliers or the producers when the government feels or think that the market price is too low to generate enough profit to the producers or encourage production of a certain commodity. So it's actually called the price floor because this kind of price is actually established to favor most of the consumers in the particular commodity, in the particular market. So it favors the suppliers, not the consumers. It favors the suppliers. So most of the price floor is established to favor the suppliers, or we call the producers, when the government feel or think that the market price is too low to generate enough profit for them. So actually, this could be more advantageous to suppliers, but in another side, it could be more disadvantageous to consumers who actually lamenting that the price they buy for the goods and services is very high. So they tend to lose, to not attain a consumer surplus. So the effect of the price floor is actually demonstrated clearly. And actually, if the government fixes price above the equilibrium price, supplies will be encouraged to supply more. Suppliers will be encouraged to supply more, but quantity demanded will decline due to the increase in price. Most of the consumers will lament in this particular kind of price. So as a result, now supply will exceed demand, so there will be a surplus, and there will be a surplus. So this now will force now suppliers to decrease price toward the equilibrium price. So if the effect of the price flow, that the price that is actually setting to favor suppliers or producers, is that the effect is that most of the consumers will decrease demand, will decrease consumption, and this could be the effect in the particular market. And another effect, there could be what is known as a producer surplus. So when you try to sketch out this graphically, we observe we have the price in the left hand side, and we have the quantity in the given level amount. So the graph would be actual drawn in this shape over here. We have the demand graph, the demand curve, the demand line that cut across the supply line at the equilibrium level, and we have the supply curve that cut across the demand curve, as you can observe. So whenever now the government fixes a price above the equilibrium price, there will be a surplus. This means that when the price is setting from P0 to P1, there will be a surplus, whereby more is actually produced than what is consumed, because consumers reduce consumption on a particular commodity. So the quantity supply in the left, at P1 line, show that the quantity supply is greater than quantity demanded, and the rectangle over there, show that there is a surplus. So surplus is located at the center over there. But before increase of price, before the government set the price at a high level, there was an equilibrium price that equates the quantity supply that is equal to quantity demanded at that point. But when the price increases from P0 to P1, what happened? There was a surplus, but also the quantity supply declined, or the quantity demanded declined from the given amount level. But actually the quantity supply increases while the quantity demanded decline, as you can observe. So whenever there is an increase in price of P0 to P1, it will lead to increase of supply from QS1 to X1, but it will lead to decline in demand. Most of the consumers will ignore to consume, will reduce their spending on particular commodities, as you can observe. So that is how we sketch out the graph about the maximum price set by the government, or price the price floor, that is the minimum price that is set by the government. Maximum price or price setting, this is the maximum price set by the government below the equilibrium price to protect consumers when the government think that the market price is too high to be for the consumers to afford. So this is actually the price that is sell advantageous to consumers. So the price is being set at that is set at maximum price in order to favor the consumers. When the consumers lament on the particular commodities, the price of sold goods, the price of the goods and services that they buy in the market. So the effect of this is that the consumers will be encouraged to buy more because of the level of the low price. Another effect is that suppliers will be discouraged to sell more because of the low price. And another effect is that there will be a shortage of commodity because of the decrease in supply and increase in demand. One among the disadvantages of this, there could be advantages to one side and another effect would be disadvantages. So when the government set out the maximum price or price selling, consumers actually will enjoy purchasing certain commodities, but producers will be discouraged because they sold the quantity at the low price that actually hinder them to maximize the high profit. But also the government, another effect, the government will be forced to ration the commodity. But also another effect is the social unrest may occur. But not only that, another effect for the maximum or price selling that favors consumers is that the government will be forced to raise the price back to the equilibrium. And the reason for the government to force the raise price back to the equilibrium is the lamentations that for the producers who think that they not benefit at all due to that decisions. So when you try to sketch out the graph will appear like this. The left hand side we have the price, that is PE, and PI, and we have the quantity of commodity in the x-axis, and we have the SX and the SX, as you can observe, that is the line, the supply curve that cut across the demand curve. So we need to first withdraw the equilibrium line whereby the quantity supply was equal to the quantity demanded. So after the government now take the decision to set a price at a maximum, this means that to set a price that is low in order to favor the consumers, now we observe to see the equilibrium shifted and actually lead to shortage. So at this point now we draw the demand curve that cut across the supply curve. We draw the supply curve that cut across the demand curve. So when the price is set at the maximum price, this means that it is set below the low price, that is from PE to P1. We observe the shortage to happen. And when the shortage happens, the quantity demanded normally increases from QD1 to QD1 to QD2, but the quantity supply declines from QS2 to QS1. So when the government set a price at the maximum level, that is the QD, which is greater than QS, we observe the different changes in the quantity demanded. At the equilibrium level is the point at point PE, that is the equilibrium level, where the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supply. Now after the shifting of the equilibrium from PE, the price decline from PE to P1, we observe to see shortage. And whereby is the line where shows that the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supply. So for that case, most of the consumers are encouraged to increase spending or to increase consumption on a particular commodity, while the producers are discouraged to increase supply. So there will be a shortage of commodity because of the decrease in supply and an increase in demand. So the government will be forced to ration the commodity. But not only that, but also the government will be forced also to raise the price back to the equilibrium. That could be the effect that could occur. as you can observe. Consumer surplus. So this is the difference in the amount of consumer is willing and able to pay for the commodity and the actual market price. For example, suppose the consumer is willing and able to pay 3,000 Tanzania shillings for commodity X, but this actual price is 2,000. The actual price of commodity is 2,000 Tanzania shillings. Therefore, now the consumer surplus will be equals to 3,000 minus 200. So the surplus for the consumer will be equals to 1,000. So consumer surplus is actual the remaining that the consumers attain after paying not the actual price, after paying unexpectedly the actual price of commodity. So the consumer surplus graph is showing like this. We have let's assume we have the price. So the daily price the price that was expected by consumer was 3,000, but he found out the price of commodity is not 3,000 but it is 2,000. So if the price decline now from 3,000 to 2,000 unexpectedly, now consumers will require to pay only 2,000. So for that case now, the consumers will remain with the surplus, that is taking 3,000 minus 2,000, that is 1,000. So the area, the rectangle over there, the area over there show that the consumer surplus, as the shaded area is the consumer surplus area. So in this figure, a consumer is able and willing to pay 3,000, but the commodity is sold 2,000. So therefore now the consumer surplus will be equals to 3,000 minus 200, that is equal to 1,000.